According to the American Heart Association, childhood obesity is the #1 health concern among parents in the U.S., topping drug abuse and smoking. The objective of my thesis is to keep Syracuse children active and healthy, whether they be obese or not. CNN News and Health.com report that children grades 3 through 6 who are obese are more likely to be bullied than their normal weight peers, even if they are smart and have great social skills. Julie Lemming, medical professor of pediatrics at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, writes that the two biggest factors that lead to obesity in children are doing poorly in school and coming from a low-income family.
Now that I know that the food is really unhealthy for us, I feel guilty giving it to my kids. But we don't have time to cook because we leave at 6. We don't get home until 9, 10 at night. When you have only $1 to spend and you have 2 kids to feed, either you go to the market and try to find something that's cheap, or just go straight through a drive-through and get 2 small hamburgers for them and, okay, here, eat them. This is what's going to fill her up, not that one single item at the market.
Look at the broccoli. It's too expensive, man.
What did you want to eat then? First, check to see how many are there for a pound.
Okay.
That we're done. Why not? You'd only get like 2 or 3. No, come on.
You can find candy that's cheaper. You can find chips that are cheaper. The sodas are really cheap. Sometimes you look at a vegetable and say, okay, well, we can get 2 hamburgers over here for the same amount of price.
Why is it that you can buy a double cheeseburger at McDonald's for 99 cents and you can't even get a head of broccoli for 99 cents? We've skewed our food system to the bad calories, and it's not an accident. I mean, the reason that those calories are cheaper is because those are the ones we're heavily subsidizing. And this is directly tied to the kind of agriculture that we're practicing and the kind of farm policies we have. All those snack food calories are the ones that come from the commodity crops, from the wheat, from the corn, and from the soybeans. By making those calories really cheap, that's one of the reasons that the biggest predictor of obesity is income level.
New research may help us figure out why our children are becoming obese at such an alarming rate. Dr. Robert Lustig has been studying an area in the brain called the hypothalamus. This is the part of the brain that regulates weight-related hormones like cortisol and insulin. Cortisol can lead to the creation of bad fat, that fat in your abdomen, and insulin.
Insulin takes sugar in the blood and moves it into the fat for storage for another day. That's its job. It's supposed to do that.
But when we eat a diet that's too high in sugar, the insulin goes up and the energy gets stored as fat in the abdomen. That's the bad fat, the fat that's associated with high blood pressure, diabetes, and premature death. Another factor increasing the weight of our children may be stress.
When you're stressed, you release hormones called glucocorticoids, and glucocorticoids make fat also. They also go to your brain and tell your brain to eat more as well.
Dr. Mary Dahlman has been studying the effects of stress on rats.
In chronically stressed rats, glucocorticoids go up, insulin goes up, they eat more, and they deposit more fat.
What's interesting is that given the choice between rat food and comfort food, the stressed rats show a strong preference for the comfort food. She says that this can be seen in children as well. And that could be part of the problem. We know that eating comfort food can actually make you feel better if you're stressed, but it can also decrease your desire to be active. And the fact that most kids love to eat high-fat, high-sugar foods anyway is a recipe for disaster.
This is the first generation that's going to live less long than their parents.
And with 80% of adult obesity beginning in childhood, the future is easy to predict and in dire need of preventive measures being taken.
As far as I'm concerned, both from an economic, from a societal, from a medical, and from a scientific standpoint, the place to focus is on childhood obesity.
Parents have always wished health and happiness for their children. Somehow, our notion of healthiness got misconstrued. Currently in America, 1 in every 3 children are either overweight or obese. Let's help America's children grow healthy and strong for their futures.